we have learned that supply of heat energy, light energy and electrical energy would initiate a chemical reaction. Now let us see the next condition under which a chemical reaction would take place. That is by the supply of pressure. Some chemical reactions take place when the reactants are subjected to pressure. So let us see what happens when the reactants are subjected to pressure, which means the reactants are supplied with pressure. This would initiate a chemical reaction. So when the reactants are subjected to pressure, the molecules or the particles of the reactants would come closer, like how you see here in this picture. And as they come closer, there would be collision between the particles and also with the walls of the container. So this collision would initiate a chemical reaction to take place, and thus we get the product. Now let's take an example of one such chemical reaction where the reactants are subjected to pressure. That is the production of ammonia. As you see here, nitrogen gas reacts with hydrogen gas at a temperature of 450 degrees Celsius in the presence of the catalyst finely divided iron at a pressure of 200 atmospheres to give the product ammonia. During this reaction, as you see here, there is plus delta, which indicates that heat energy is liberated during this reaction. So this shows that this is an exothermic reaction. Generally, in case of reactants where the reactants are in the gaseous state, as you see here, when there is increase in pressure, all the molecules or the particles of the reactants would come closer by increase in pressure, and thus they collide with each other and with the walls of the container, and this collision would initiate a chemical reaction. But in case of reactants that are in the solid state or the reactants that are in the solution state, there is no much change seen when there is change in pressure. Now look into this picture here. Here we see that there are two reactants. One is a solid reactant and the other one is a gaseous reactant. As you see, the particles are arranged closely in one reactant and the particles are far apart from each other in the other reactant. Now, when there is low pressure, we see that all the particles behave like that of in the gaseous state and in the solid state, which means in the gaseous state, the particles are far apart. So, in lower pressure, all these particles still exist to be in greater distance from each other. But when there is increase in pressure, it is observed that all these molecules or particles of gaseous reactants would come closer, but all the particles of solid reactants remain the same. So this indicates that when there is a change in pressure, the solid reactants and the reactants that are in the solution state are not much affected, but the reactants that are in the gaseous state are affected by change in pressure, which means those reactants that are in the gaseous state, for such reactants, the molecules or the particles would come closer when there is increase in pressure. So this is how supply of pressure can initiate a chemical reaction. Now let's move on to see the last condition necessary for a chemical reaction, that is use of a catalyst. Some chemical reactions take place in the presence of a catalyst. Before we go in to see few chemical reactions where a catalyst is used, first let's understand what is a catalyst. A catalyst is a substance that's added along with the reactants in such a way that it brings about a change in the rate of the reaction, which means it either increases the rate of reaction or decreases the rate of reaction. Remember that a catalyst used in a reaction does not take part in a chemical reaction. So a catalyst is a substance that alters the rate of reaction, that is either by increasing the rate of reaction or decreasing the rate of reaction without taking part in the chemical reaction. A catalyst remains chemically unchanged even at the end of the reaction. So since a catalyst does not take part in a reaction, the chemical composition of the catalyst remains the same as it was in the beginning even at the end of the reaction. Now look into this picture here. Here we see that there is a catalyst, and here we can see reactants are now bonded to the catalyst. So this happens when a chemical reaction would take place and the reactants would react together to give final products. We know that reactants would give final products which are different from the reactants. But even at the end of the reaction, it is observed that catalyst remains chemically unchanged, which means the catalyst that we have used in the beginning of the reaction is the same one what we have got at the end of the reaction without any change in chemical composition. This is because a catalyst does not take part in a reaction. Now let's take an example of a reaction where a catalyst is used. Reaction of ammonia with oxygen. Now when oxygen is added to a reactant and a chemical reaction would take place, such a reaction is called as an oxidation reaction. So here ammonia reacts with oxygen in the presence of a catalyst, that is platinum, at a temperature of 800 degrees Celsius to give the product nitric oxide along with the production of water. Now here in this reaction we see heat energy is liberated and therefore this is called an exothermic reaction. So this reaction is called catalytic oxidation of ammonia. So oxygen gas is added to ammonia and during this reaction we use a catalyst, that is platinum. That is why this reaction is called catalytic oxidation of ammonia. In general, there are two types of catalyst. They are positive catalyst and negative catalyst. A positive catalyst is a catalyst that increases the rate of reaction. One such example of a catalyst is manganese dioxide. We have already learned how manganese dioxide is used as a catalyst in a chemical reaction. That is the chemical reaction where potassium chlorate is decomposed. As you have already seen this in our previous class, potassium chlorate as it is heated in the presence of catalyst manganese dioxide, it gives the products potassium chloride along with the liberation of oxygen gas. So during this reaction, we use the catalyst manganese dioxide. So manganese dioxide is a catalyst that increases the rate of this chemical reaction. In case of negative catalysts are those catalysts that decreases the rate of chemical reaction. One such catalyst that decreases the rate of chemical reaction is phosphoric acid, that is H3PO4. Now it is used in the decomposition of hydrogen peroxide. So phosphoric acid is used in the decomposition of hydrogen peroxide to give the products water and oxygen gas. So as you see here, this catalyst H3PO4, that is phosphoric acid, it brings about a decrease in the rate of reaction. There are some other substances that are added along with the catalyst. So such substances are added along with the catalyst in order to improve the efficiency of a catalyst. So such substances are called promoters. So a promoter is a substance that is added to improve the efficiency of a catalyst. Now let's see an example where a promoter is used. Here in the reaction of nitrogen with hydrogen, we have already learned that this reaction takes place in the presence of the catalyst iron and at a temperature of 450 degrees Celsius and at a pressure of 200 atmospheres. It gives the product ammonia and heat energy is liberated. So here, along with the catalyst finely divided iron, we use molybdenum. Molybdenum is a promoter. So this promoter improves the efficiency of the catalyst. That is, it improves the efficiency of this catalyst ion. So this is how a catalyst would initiate a chemical reaction.